Welcome to the Enlightened Misfits podcast, the space for entrepreneurs on a quest for unwavering certainty and purpose. I'm your host, Lauren, and each episode is a compass guiding you through authentic conversations, unraveling the mysteries of your human design chart, and offering tools from the remarkable guest. Join me as we embark on a journey to manifest greatness and create a life aligned with our deepest purpose. This is a space where misfits find their enlightenment. Welcome to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Welcome back to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. I'm your host, Lauren, and in today's episode, I have Elizabeth. She is an intuitive manifestation mentor, activator, and healer. Welcome, Elizabeth. I'm so happy to have you here today with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Can you share with us your journey into becoming a intuitive manifestation mentor and activator?
Yeah, so my journey has definitely evolved as many light workers I feel like do over time, right? We start off as this just curious or have this knowing or this feeling, and this is kind of exactly what happened for me. I mean, I've always felt I was, more intuitive or psychic, as you can say, all my life. And, weird things would happen as a kid, and you get those hits and everything like that. I've always been fascinated with the spiritual world, the psychic world. And, I started to get this pull in 2020 that I was meant to be doing something else, like what I was currently doing, which was working in association management, was just not my like future path. Like, right, I was supposed to take over my family business, like, and run my own company. And I would have been set like financially, right? It was a good paying gig, but it just wasn't fulfilling me. And I really felt like I'm here to help people in a bigger way, right? Like some other way. So I really just started my spiritual quest, like opening myself up to being like, okay, well, what is it that I'm here to do? And so, you start exploring, reading books, going into Facebook groups, and I found a person who was offering, free soul purpose reading. So I was like, yes, sign me up for that, please. What is
Yeah.
my soul's purpose? And I ended up signing up with her to develop my psychic abilities because, I felt like it was finally time. I had dabbled in it in the beginning, like read the books, tried to study tarot, and I never really was disciplined with it. So I just kind of always let it go. And this time I was like, I'm going to do this. And so that's what I did first was I developed my psychic abilities, learned how to use them, intuitively do healings and became an intuitive healer and reader. But I still felt like there was a piece of it missing. And then, when we're feeling that and you're like, what am I here to do? And I would ask my spirit team over and over again, like, what is my purpose? Like, what am I here to do? Just give me an answer, right? And it
Yeah.
took a couple few months to finally I heard like teacher leader, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, but about what? Like, what do I know? What can I help people with? I had just started off on like, my journey, and it certainly wasn't teaching people how to be psychic at that point in my life because I literally had just, probably 6 or 9 months in developed. And I found my next mentor who was a manifestation and mindset coach. And that material changed my life like tenfold. I was the worrier, the negative Nancy, like let me speak to your manager type of person, just like just very I want my way and I'm going to use whatever force I need to get my way, right? Everything
Right.
was forced and always worrying, and realizing that I can create my own reality and my own experience and not have to live in worry or judgment, and let things go and things can be easy and flow completely changed my life. So I was so lit up about it. I was like, yes, like this is what I want to help people with. I want to help people realize this and feel the same way. And so then I became, a manifestation and mindset mentor. And then probably late last year, I really started to step into this new role and this new, next level of myself of evolvement and combining the two, right? Like all of my gifts, my, ability to heal people, to activate people. And I discovered my light language, and started doing light language activations for people and realizing how I'm able to just activate people by them being in my energy while teaching them about how to, hone in on their manifestation abilities, their mindset, and like heal them all in this encompassing, and really discovering like I'm here to help people step into their next level so they can then help others do the same and live their best life. So that's kind of in a nutshell how I got to where I am today, but it was a process, right? It was a journey. It wasn't just like this, oh, I know my purpose and I'm doing it, right? It was a growth period, and I'm just so blessed for all the ways that it came about.
Yeah. I was going to say, I love that you said it that way, especially because I've been having a lot of conversations like with my own clients and just like people in general that they would always like say to me, Lauren, you make this look so easy. Like, how did you come? And like you said, it's like a process. Like, you know, even if like whoever's listening to this, or like if you like listen to this in the future, it's like it's a process. And it's like even me before we started recording, and I'll be very transparent. I was like, even me, it's like I was just telling you that I was going through this weird part of my life, and like this current like moment that I'm in now is like it's like this place of being, and just like, you know, clearing out like all like past life stuff and like trauma and all this stuff, and it's just like now it's this place of like unknown, and it's just like this is weird, I've never been here before, you know. It's like always those experiences that you're like, oh, this is kind of familiar, but it's like really not. So yeah, it's
Right.
definitely, I feel like it's definitely this you know, weird place of being sometimes. And sometimes that's just okay. Like to just, you know, not have that, you know, oh, where am I going next?
The
Like
answers,
it's
the
unknown.
certainty. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's really difficult for us as humans to be in that place of uncertainty and not know all the answers. But that is, you know, really when you're able to come into that and be okay with just living in the moment now and knowing that you are supported and guided and everything will come to you in divine timing, where you're supposed to go next, and trusting the process, right? Like,
Right.
and that's what life is about experiencing and the journey, right? Like if we knew
Right.
exactly, like if we got to the end now, then what would be the purpose of life, right? Like we would just
Yes.
like, okay, well then we might as well stop because we've done everything we
Right.
came to do.
Yeah. I know for me personally, I feel like, you know, I had to learn a lot of this lifetime, I feel like, of to stop chasing after, like I feel like when I something was felt good, or like what's the words, you know, like I would always chase after it and then hold on to it, and
Yeah.
then I would not like let go of it, and it's just like, oh, that mindset of like, you know, that victim mindset of like, oh my goodness, what's coming next. So then like that whole time it was like it could have been like 2 3 months or whatever, and then I didn't even enjoy that moment. So it's like
Mm,
now I had shifted that, and it's like I just know that there's always like, it's not even, I don't even say good or bad. It's just that harmony, you know, like you, I wouldn't know what bad was if I didn't have good,
for
vice
sure.
versa, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about gifts of channeling and light language. So how do these gifts like enhance your healing work and support your clients in their journey to be their truest selves?
For sure. I mean, the ability to kind of channel, and it's basically like removing your ego, right? Like your personal opinion, your experiences. And yes, you can share your experiences with your clients to help them relate and understand. But when you're channeling from spirit, you're giving them the messages that they need to hear in the moment that are going to help them move the needle forward, right? Like move forward towards their goals or to healing. And the same thing with healing. Like I know what we need to work on in our session, because even if we had something else planned and you come into the session and there's all this stuff that's been coming up, like I know intuitively, like, I'm sorry, we can't work on that right now. We need to do this first, because if we don't release this first or heal this first, then all that work over here is going to be pointless, right? Because you have this stuff that we need to work through in order to get to that next step. So that's, you know, being you know, using the intuitive gifts and the channeling gifts, and just being able to deliver the messages that are going to help my clients for their highest good. I know it's directly coming from spirit, and I don't have to, you know, figure out exactly, oh, am I saying the right things? Because I know I'm giving them what they need for their highest good, and it really has nothing to do with me, right? And my past experiences, it's what's really here to help them for their highest good, and able to, you know, heal and move forward, and just, you know, as you said, the healing ability, intuitive ability, knowing what we need to work on, what we need to heal, what type of healing, I'm going to use in that session, because I do have multiple modalities that I use, right? So it's just so powerful to be able to tap into those gifts and use them for our clients.
Yeah. So, the one thing that you said earlier was the concept of manifestation. So, if like, can you kind of elaborate a little bit on that concept? And, for anybody that's listening, or because I feel like the, it, it can society when society makes like manifestation, it's like, can they put a negative connotation on it? I feel like, so could you kind of elaborate on for you anyway, the concept of manifestation and individuals like that can align themselves with their soul's desire, or I should say, how individuals can align themselves with their soul's desire.
Yeah, so I feel like in the last few years, manifestation has been a huge like buzzword, like a huge
Yeah.
like, thing. And manifestation is really just creating your experience into your physical reality. And it's something that we have been doing our entire lives. It's not something that you learn how to do and you don't do. You're always doing it, whether you realize it or not, which sometimes could be a hard pill for some people to swallow, because if they're experiencing things that they don't necessarily love in their life, they will say, well, I didn't want this, I didn't ask for this, I didn't create this. But
Yeah.
like creation and manifestation are not about what you want. It is about who you're being, what you are. You only can, manifest or create what you're a vibrational match to, meaning how you're showing up in your life and what is your dominant feeling on a day-to-day basis in your life. That is what you're going to bring towards you into your reality. That's what you're going to experience. And you have the power to choose your experiences and change your perspective at any moment. And things can shift within a moment, like very quickly, if you can, we call it purposely manifestation. Like I co-wrote a book with three other lovely coaches called Manifesting with Purpose. And so this is really about intentionally creating, right? We are paying attention to our thoughts, we are paying attention to our emotions and our actions, so that we can experience and create, manifest into your physical reality what it is that you actually desire. And we're talking about desires here. I truly believe that the things that we desire, the things that we want, are already ours. They're already meant for us. Like we've already have them. It's just they haven't, manifested into our physical reality, because I believe that these things that come into our imagination that we want to create is coming from God, spirit, universe, source, whatever you resonate with. I use those terms universally. I believe that God is in within all of us, and we are all an extension of God. We are all of creation, right? We're all one. And so when you get these ideas of something that you would love to experience in your life, this is God wanting this through you, right? Wanting to experience it. God wants you to have these things. So you can have them. It's just believing that you can have them, and then becoming a vibrational match, also known as an emotional match, to that thing, right? And that's a whole, I think, another explanation needed for that, right? If you don't understand or have never heard of, the law of vibration and frequency. But basically, the emotional point that you're at is your point of attraction. So if you're in a lower vibration, which means you're feeling lower vibrational emotions such as anger or sadness or grief, you're going to attract things that are kind of on that same level. But if your dominant feeling is one of a higher vibration, such as joy and love and excitement, that's when you're going to attract all these beautiful things that you feel like you want, that you put that label as good, right? Because we decide what is good and bad in our lives, and it's different for everybody. So it really is a subjective to what is good and bad in your life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love that you said about the emotional, like the good and bad, because I feel like the conditioning, I feel like a lot of us had, when we were kids, and up until like I mean, even now, I feel like, I could say it probably now too, is people think, oh, well, if I'm angry, I'm not going to manifest.
Right.
Like I'm not going to manifest. And I mean, I know from my past experiences, it was like I realized, once I got out of victim mentality and I came from the awareness, I should say, it's basically the awareness. And I love that consciousness and I love all of that. Like, I'm like a psychology brain nerd, I feel like, when it comes to that, because it's like, I realized it's just something shifted in me that I was like, wait a second. If, of course I got into like manifestation, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
if I attract everything that, I needed to heal, or everything that, like, quote unquote, was like bad, or, bad for me, I should say, then how about if I just do the opposite? And then, what will happen? And it's like, I didn't really believe it until I actually started feeling it and seeing it. Right. So I feel like, I always tell people, don't listen to what I have to say. If you don't believe me, just try it. Like, just do it. Right. Because you'll see, because you'll just prove to yourself that everybody's not lying to you. you know
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, feeling is the secret. I mean, it literally
Right.
is the secret to manifesting what it is you desire. But the key is feeling that emotion now before the thing comes into your life, right? Instead of saying, I'll be happy when, I get this,
Yes.
right? We want to be happy now and be grateful and joyful expectation, we call it, right? We're excitedly, it's so grateful that we have this thing coming to us because we know it's coming to us, and that's when it comes into your life,
Right.
right? Is being
Yeah.
grateful now, and that's when it will show up.
Yes, I actually just said that same thing that you just said, but I said that to my boyfriend last week, because he's, currently going through a transformation in his life, switching jobs and careers and all of that. And he said, he literally said that, I'll be happy when I do this. And I'm
Right.
like, here's me. I'm like, do I say something? Do I not? Because then I'm like, I need to say something. So I was like, how about you just be happy now? And then, he's like, oh, wait a second. Yes, I need to be happy now. And then immediately it was like, maybe an hour goes by, and he's like, something shifted in me. And I was like, it's because you decided, to be
Right.
happy now. It was not until the next week that he had to take his test, but, like, it just, he was like, he can see it, like, I just feel like once you shift it and you make that decision, it is very transformative, like, just for the own person.
For
So
sure.
yeah. So when you say, like, maybe some of your clients or people that you work with, could struggle maybe finding their life purpose, how do you guide your clients through discovering and aligning with their life purpose?
I just, I start by having them just have fun, like start exploring, right? Start finding the things that light them up, that bring them excitement, because that is going to lead you to your purpose. Those things that really fire you up, that you have a passion for, that, life is supposed to be fun and joyful and easy and flow, right? And yes, we're going to have challenges, and that's okay. But, for the majority of the part, we should be in this, state of just joy and bliss and fun. And so I really suggest them just to kind of figure out, what is it that you love to do? Like, what would you love to do if money was not a factor, right? Like, if you didn't have to worry about money, what would you do? Because when you go towards the excitement and the joy, and then you do that thing, the money will follow. The money will show up, right? When we release that need to do something for the money, right? You're trying to control the how. So we really want to just that, like, feel what feels good in your body, because that's always going to point you into the right direction towards what it is that your bigger purpose is. And really, ultimately, the purpose of life is to be here and experience life to its fullest, to your highest potential, right? To your best way expression of yourself. So what is it that allows your true self to come through? And so it is about exploring, and we can look at the different things that you've done in the past that you enjoy, but it's really exploring and having fun and finding that thing that lights you up.
Yes. And I love that you said about experiencing, because I would always, I think a lot of people too, and some of my clients lately have been using this. It's more of like I think a victim mentality of, like, or just maybe conditioning. But they always say, like, I started saying this a long time ago for myself, but I'm like, I get to versus I have to. I feel like that those words really shift, something in they shifted something in my brain. I'm not sure in your experience if that helped you, but it was like, I don't have to do this. It's like, or you should do this. And it's just like, stop shooting all over yourself.
Yes.
Just do what you want to do. And I feel like just for me in general, I feel like when I tell myself that, or if I say I should do this, and it's like, wait a second, like who's they and who's telling me I should, you know? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
So in
I
your
love that.
experience, would like how important do you feel like the connection with source, God, universe, whoever um you I know universal for me too, so I'll just say source.
Yeah.
For each, of your clients or maybe for yourself that is the like idea of manifesting your fulfilling life.
I mean, for me personally, I feel like my connection to source is a really important piece in my life. And you're always connected. It's not like you're disconnected ever from source energy. It's just maybe being how are you tapping into that connection or are you feeling that connection, right? And are you shutting it off or you don't feel it actually in your body? And so I really do feel like if you want those answers, on which direction I should go or what should I be doing or how do I do these things, taking time every day, just and it doesn't have to be longer than a few minutes, right, to just center yourself and to be open to receive the energy and the connection from source energy, and then you'll start to be inspired on a daily basis. You'll get those intuitive hits and be able to take those inspirational actions where you get this idea in your head or the opportunities will come to you because now you've opened yourself up to receive, right, to receive the energy, and that's going to help move you towards your goals faster as well as them to come towards you. You're creating this magnetic force when you're actually taking time to feel the connection to spirit, to source, and receive the guidance. And you may not get it in that moment, like, right, like if you say, okay, give me the answer, you may not feel or hear or see anything, right, but maybe later on during the day, all of a sudden out of the blue, because you're not resisting it, right, you're not you're
Right.
distracted, and that's when it's going to come in because you're more open to receiving it. Your ego's not in the way trying to create something.
Right. I like that you said that because I was going to say definitely my ego likes to be like, no, 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 no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that again. And it's just like, wait a second. Yes, we are. We're doing this. But yeah, I can resonate with that too because a couple of my friends, I feel like everybody sends me numbers, but they'll just send me random license plate numbers. And it's just like it makes me I don't have to say anything. Most of the time I do, like I'll respond, but a lot of the times it's just like it lights me up to see that people are actually raising their awareness and they're actually open to, if they see a random number, maybe they don't know what the random number means, you could Google it. I highly suggest you not to Google it. I
Yeah,
always tell people, what are you thinking at the time that you see the number? That is the
100%.
most important. Do not go on Google because it's going to be 16,000 different perspectives, and it might not resonate with you, but I
Yeah,
usually all I say back is, what were you thinking? And most of the time they don't know what they were thinking. But the next time they see a number, I've noticed people to say, oh, I got my confirmation. Or that just means, because I am definitely not a person or a guide or a mentor that tells people what it is. I kind of just ask a question like, well, what are you thinking? And if they don't know, then I'll say the next time that you see it, just be aware of, blah, 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 because, and
right.
I don't know if that you're like that too, but I've noticed in the spiritual world lately, it can get very like, this is what this is saying, this is what, and it's just like, I don't really like that because it's just like, is it your guidance for you or for that person? Right. So
Yeah, I really agree with that. It's what are you thinking in that moment? Is it something that is serving you or not serving you? So they're trying to get
right.
your attention, right? Your spirit
Yeah.
team is
Yeah.
trying to get your source is trying to get your attention. Like, hey, like either stop thinking about what you're thinking right now because it's not serving you, or
Yeah.
just knowing that you are divine, you're on the right path, right?
Right.
Like, and you're divinely
Yeah.
supported and guided in your journey. Like, we've got you. Like, if you've been feeling like feelings of, like you said earlier, uncertainty or fear, or I don't know if what I'm doing is the right thing, or I feel alone, then they'll send you these signs to let you know that you are supported always by spirit.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I mean, I know that I see a lot of the sometimes when I'm like there's upgrades going on or it's like, there's a lot of things like going on just energetically or astrologically or whatever. It's like I see them all the time and I'm just like, oh my God, like my head is like I'm like I don't even know what's going on because it's just like
Yeah.
okay. And normally I just relate it back to okay, if I'm usually for me with my spirit team and like the universe, it's like it will be very loud, it'll be
Hmm.
constant, and it'll be like you're not ignoring this, so this is what we need you to know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I can't not ignore this, or it just like, won't happen. It's like I try so hard to make things like work and happen. And it's like now I'm like, okay, I guess that's supposed to be, I don't know why it's just not working. And I just kind of like let go of it. And then later on, I feel like for me that I'm like, oh, that's why that didn't happen. Like
Right. There's
that is
always,
protection kind of. Yeah.
for sure, because spirit's always watching out for you for your highest good. So like
Right.
even if you think you want something, spirit source knows like, okay, well, yeah, you want this, but we have something better for you that's actually better for you. So it's kind of like it's what we call detaching from the outcome. Right? Where if
Right.
you're so focused on the outcome and like you're so attached to it that you're actually causing resistance between the
Yeah.
thing that you actually desire when you're like, I want this so much, I'm just holding on to it, I'm gonna do everything in my power to get to it, right? But when you detach from the outcome and you can say things like, well, I would love this to happen or something better, but you're opening yourself up to receive things that could actually be far greater than you can even fathom, that you can imagine, because a lot of times we do limit ourselves as humans with our imagination and what we believe is possible for us. But when you allow, greater things to come in that you couldn't even think of, that's when it starts to unfold in such a beautiful way.
Yeah, definitely. That's been my life. I feel like my life theme for my whole life, actually, that
Sure.
I just have to. And I feel like now, I mean, I have some times that it's hard. Like, I'm going to just be really
Yeah.
transparent about that. Like, I'm like, it's hard and it's just, I feel like, but that keeps me grounded, I feel like, or human. Because
Yeah.
at one point in my journey, I was like, I don't want this human body. I don't want these emotions. I don't want none of it. I didn't ask to be here, but I did,
But
So
you
it's
did.
like,
You chose this.
yeah, like why did I, and it's like questioning myself, like, why did I choose it? What's my, that was kind of like, what's my purpose? You keep telling me I have a purpose. And it's like, what's my
Right.
purpose? But like now I can joke about it and I like laugh about it all the time because I'm just like, wow, I know that obviously I'm very difficult to deal with. But then it's like everybody is. Nobody really knows where they're going. Nobody really knows what they're doing. So it's like, I feel like it keeps you very grounded here because it's just like, I'm not from here. So it's like, I
Right.
don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, as we call them, our meat suits. So we have
Yeah,
these meat
yeah,
suits, but you're a soul, you're a spiritual being having a
right,
human experience. And
right.
so you're here to experience all of it, right? The lower emotions, the higher vibrations. And like you said earlier, or maybe we were talking before we jumped on here, like you wouldn't know the good without the bad, right? You wouldn't know what you enjoy without knowing what you don't enjoy. So, and it helps you appreciate and have gratitude for the things that you actually love and love about your life, right? And enjoy. And it teaches you to be able to have gratitude for those little things. So we can't have the light, the dark without the light. It's just, it is what it
Yes,
is. So we can stop putting meaning to everything, I think. It would be so much more helpful for you just to be coming from this place of neutrality. When something comes into your life that is like, contrast or uncomfortable, that we
yeah,
don't love, you
yeah,
can ask yourself, okay, well, what is this doing for me rather than to me, right? How is
right,
this helping me move forward in my expansion as a soul in this human life, right? Like, what is this teaching me? What am I, how can I help others through experiencing this uncomfortableness in my life right now? Instead of, like you said, having that victim mentality, like, I can't believe all these horrible things are happening to me. And why do I deserve this? Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you chose these experiences. And so just kind of honoring that and asking yourself, why did I choose this? And what can I do differently to
right.
choose something else?
Right. I know. I don't know if you work a lot. Do you work with the Akashic records or past life things like in sessions or?
I do in my healing sessions,
Okay.
with a couple of my modalities, when we try to find the root cause of whatever it is that you're wanting to let go of or release or change, we look at the root cause. Sometimes we go to a past life of something that is contributing to this issue that you're dealing with this in lifetime. But
Right.
I don't really go in the Akashic records per se myself, but I love that people do that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because when I did it for myself, because I needed to understand, I feel like I say this all the time, or I catch myself saying this all the time. It's like I, and then of course, that's kind of what got me into human design too, is because I'm actually designed to ask questions of like the deeper truths of life in general. Like I want to know the mysteries of life. So it took me down the rabbit hole of like, okay, so like, why did I have this experience? Because when I was working through my own, obviously with other mentors, working through my own victim mentality, I wanted to figure out, okay, so if somebody is telling me I chose this, which perfect, I need to now prove it to myself why I chose this, right?
Right.
So if like, then that's what kind of got me through, like got me into like, okay, so like, let me go to a past life or like having somebody guide me to there. Cause I also was like, I don't want you telling me what my past life was. I want to experience it because you could be telling me something that doesn't feel right or like does something. And I always tell people this, like, if you go to somebody, like if you're going to pick a mentor, make sure they're not telling you like what to feel, how to feel. They're asking you how you feel, because that's the difference of now they're trying to tell you how your past life is, right? It's like
Right.
if you have this aha moment, then or it's like I feel like I've been here before, but it hasn't been in this lifetime. It's probably something from a past life. I always tell people like it's probably, if you're scared of water, and it's like we're recording this and it's 11:11. It's funny.
Ah,
If you're scared of water, it's like they're obviously, did you drown in this
right.
lifetime or like it's something from a past life. So I was just curious if you do that in your sessions because I think that that is really healing for people, especially I know for me it was to understand, oh, that wisdom from a past life because you don't need, I was going to say, you don't want to take stuff from a past life and bring it into this life. You want to just have it as wisdom, to understand, oh, okay, that's why that happened. So that can stay in that lifetime. It doesn't need to
Right.
come in this lifetime. Yeah. So with talking about that, what role do you feel like mindset, shifts play in creating like lasting change and transformation for your clients?
So I honestly believe that mindset is everything. Like, honestly, I feel like mindset shifts your reality so quickly. And, my mentors often say that manifestation is 95% mindset and 5% strategy. Because you can, like, in business life, whatever you're trying to get to your goals, you can implement all the best strategies. Like, and you can implement the same strategy that someone used to make $1 million, but if you don't have that mindset, that belief that this thing that you're trying to achieve is actually possible for you and that you can achieve it, it's not going to happen for you. And maybe it will long time down the road by if you keep taking those forceful actions, but it's not going to be easy to get there, right? So when you have this mindset, and we say positive and negative mindset, but this higher vibrational mindset, right, that you truly believe that you're here to have this abundant, beautiful life and that everything is always working out for you, right, whether you know why it is or not. Things seem to happen so much quicker for you rather than if you're in this more negative mindset, right, where you're worried all the time and you're thinking about all the bad things that can happen, because that's what you're creating. Your thoughts, your mindset is essentially creating your current experience. So that's why it's so important. And I don't want you to get hard on yourself, and down on yourself if you have a negative thought or a bad day or like a negative emotion, because it's normal. Like, it's completely normal as humans to have those lower vibrational days or thoughts or emotions. But it's like, what is your dominant energy that you're in dominantly throughout your life, throughout your day, right? And just because you have a bad thought doesn't mean you've undone your entire day. So kind of like letting go of this, this this myth, I guess, around like you always have to be in a positive mindset. That's not possible, right? It's the law of rhythm, right? Things have to go up and down. It's just natural part of human experience. So allow yourself to feel those emotions when they come in. Ask yourself, where are they coming from? Why am I experiencing this negative emotion right now? And allow yourself to feel it. And that's a lot of times too when we're doing healing sessions, and if my client starts to cry and they're trying to hold it back, I'm like, let it out, release it. Because if you don't allow yourself to feel it and experience it, all you're doing is storing it into your body, and it's going to manifest in some wicked way that you don't want in the future, like an illness or like,
Yeah.
some other negative thing that we don't want.
Yes, definitely. So, lastly, what advice would you give somebody who is maybe just starting out their journey of self discovery and manifestation?
Oh, that's a good question. I would, for me, it was really just taking time every day for some sort of self practice, right? Getting into the habit of taking time in whatever feels good to you in the morning or night, taking time to, list out your gratitude. If you like structure, you can do things in a structured way in the beginning to get yourself in the habit. And then once you get in a habit, you can I've released my structure with what I do on a daily basis. I do what feels good in my body. So like, there's different methods where people will say, the 369 method. It's an older method. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, where you have to write out things like 3 times a day, 3 times, 6 times, 9 times every day for however many days. For me, that felt awful. Like I personally, no, I'm not judging, or saying it's a bad method, but for me and my body, I did not align with it. So it has to feel good to you, whatever you're doing, to kind of have this practice, right? This spiritual practice, this manifestation practice. And so just finding your method that really feels good in your body, that feels easy, and that you're connecting with the emotion. That is the most important part of manifestation, I believe, is, when you're thinking about what it is that you want to bring into your life, what you want to manifest, what you want to create, get in touch with the emotion that is involved in that. How would you feel with that thing manifested in your life, and connect to that emotion? And so that's what I do on a daily basis. And I'm always, in gratitude all throughout the day too. You can just start implementing that in your life, not just like in the morning 5 minutes, which is a great start, right? But then find
Yeah.
little things to be grateful for, like, oh my gosh, I love this hot coffee, cup of coffee, or the sun is shining, I'm so grateful for the sun shining, or I'm so grateful my kids are laughing, just little things where you can be more present and grateful for the now. And again, finding that practice, for me, it's visualization, where I visualize myself with my goals achieved, and I'm really feeling the emotion of that thing that I have. And there's tons of guided visualizations on YouTube if you're just starting off. That was how I started meditating, how I started visualizing, was I went on YouTube and I found guided meditations, and that's how I started my spiritual practice, to be honest. So that would be like, my kind of pointers is for people that are just starting off.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for all of that. Now, do you have how can people connect with you? I'll make sure also that the links are in the show notes for the audio and on YouTube when they watch the video. But if they resonate with anything that you're saying, how are they able to connect with you?
You can find me on social media under my name, Elizabeth Plancon, on all channels. It's just my name. My website is elizabethplancon.com. And if you were interested in working with me, I have multiple ways to do that. I have single sessions where I have readings or healing sessions. I also have a monthly membership that is a lower cost monthly membership where there's 2 live calls every month. We do a live light language activation. You have a chance to be coached by me, mentored by me with your questions in a group setting. And I also pull, a card for you every month. If you have a question, a specific question, or just want a message from spirit, I will channel a message for you once a month inside of my membership. It's called Light Up Your Life monthly membership. And then I also work with clients one-on-one in a one-on-one container. And that's a more intensive container for those that are really ready to up level their life quickly and, really want to make the shifts in their life, to really step into their purpose and to help others in this world and to really change their life. That's, kind of what my one-on-one containers are for. And inside those, we do mentoring, we do healings, we do activations, all the things, right? With all that really intimate support.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on the episode with Elizabeth on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe. You can leave a review. And then make sure you check out all of her links and everything and all the things that she just explained to you guys a moment ago. Stay tuned for more captivating conversations in the future. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Thank you for joining us on another enlightening episode on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you are a current or inspiring to be fempreneur, suffering from the fear of being seen and or feel very triggered when you're building your business, reach out to me at the Mermaid Light about my Rich and Resilient Biz Baddies. This is a collective text message Voxer support group designed to help you heal your triggers and turn imposter syndrome into bad bitch energy. If you resonate with our conversations and insight, don't forget to subscribe, rate the show, and leave a review. Your feedback fuels our mission. Remember, your journey to unwavering certainty and purpose is ongoing. So please make sure you stay connected with us on social media. Keep manifesting greatness in your life. Until next time, this is Lauren from the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Stay enlightened, stay inspired, and keep manifesting your extraordinary path.